Well, this trip we have all gotten tattoos. So our next topic is tattoos. Should we get tattoos? It's a little late. Should we get tattoos? How long do they last? How do you choose what tattoo you want to have?
You mean this isn't going to be gone by tomorrow?
Faith, do they start looking bad over time? That sort of stuff. I always said that I was going to get a rose on my boob, so when I was old and so I could have a long stem rose. But what do we think about tattoos? You know, it's a very controversial topic in the Christian realm. What do you think?
Yeah, it is very controversial.
You think no?
I think if you have a relationship with the Lord and you're drawn to Him and your conscience is sincerely clear about it. Because there's those who are kind of back and forth and back and forth. And the Bible's pretty specific about if you do something that you don't feel like you're supposed to be doing, that's a sin. And so I think that it is based out of relationship with the Lord. I mean, as we were talking about this before, there was conversation brought up, about biblical passages out of Leviticus, and realizing that the law that the Lord put in place was a reflection of His heart. And if we're in a love relationship with God, and we are understanding His heart for us, for the time that we're living in, and what He's speaking to us, you know, it's going to look different for everybody. There are certain things that is okay for me that's not okay for Kendall, and vice versa, because of the relationship with the Lord. But you have to be. That has got to be the
certain things that are okay for one person, not okay for another.
In Romans 14, that whole chapter, if you read it, it says about, it's talking mostly about food in that passage, but it's clearly saying what are your personal convictions before the Lord on these things, unless it's outright sin. But it says if it's not done in faith, like Lyd was saying, it is sin for that person.
But how about the stumbling? And I'm just bringing it up there. You know, what if it causes someone to stumble? Like, don't eat food.
Well, that,
if it causes someone to stumble,
that would fall more into like if you're going out with somebody who doesn't drink alcohol. Tattoo is a decision you're making for yourself that really shouldn't be affecting somebody's walk with the Lord. I don't think. I mean, that's a personal thing. I think that's more like if you're going to eat meat or if you're going to drink alcohol or those type of topics where if you're out with someone, I wouldn't drink it around somebody who was struggling with it or didn't think that it was appropriate. I wouldn't drink around them.
Somebody's addicted to getting tattoos. It does happen. I've heard of people who do. And they go, okay, well, all these Christian girls, and I got a tattoo, all these Christian girls got tattoos. So, therefore, it can't be bad. And even though it might not be right in my spirit, because God, I know God does, in former life, if God does not want me to do that, I can now justify it because you guys all did it.
Yeah, I don't think you can, like, make decisions like that based on what people might respond to. If you have a specific person in your life that's come to you and says, I have a real struggle with this, then that's when you make that decision. You know, when you're going to eat with somebody and they don't eat a certain food because of their faith, that's when you make that decision. Not, I have to think that there's probably somebody out there somewhere who might think something about the fact that I did this when I feel completely at peace in my heart with this with the Lord. I mean, you can find somebody who's going to not be okay with everything.
Well, it's like Paul too, where in Peter, he talks about that, where Paul confronted Peter and said, "You've gone back to putting the law over people that Christ set them free from because you're afraid of what they think, of what they think about you and what they're going to think about your freedom." And Paul confronted him in front of. It says that he confronted him in front of everybody. Because of that, and so I do agree that it's something different than fear of man. I'm not doing this because I'm afraid of what people are going to think of me, or because I think that's what it comes down to more is I'm afraid of what people are going to, how people will view me. They'll think I'm less of a Christian, or if it's going to affect them somehow, then rather than if it's someone in your direct.
I think that's where a whole other topic comes up, but Facebook, because Facebook, there's been so many. Facebook can be used for good, but there are so many issues that do arise through Facebook because it's not relationship. It's something that's put out there, and people that don't have that close relationship that can speak into can write something, you know, and that's where all these issues can come up too, is because the Bible does say if your brother, if this, you know, causes them to stumble, then don't do it in front of them. But in Facebook, you're thinking about, oh, I'm going to put out that I'm having some.
So it's just a cultural thing, because up until 10, 15 years ago, Christians would not get tattoos. Was Christians just legalistic back then? I'm just asking the question.
I don't think that's true. I think there's been Christians that have gotten tattoos for.
Well, I
No,
think
it's
tattoo
accepted.
parlors
It's
have
not accepted.
expanded and gone bigger, and it's become more of a norm for people. Everyone, because I don't think many people
Sorry.
got tattoos back in the day.
Yeah.
Anyone, just because it wasn't as huge as it is now. And the Christian scene, I see the Christian scene grow in tattoos just as much as the world is growing in tattoos.
Yeah.
Just as much.
And I think it's
that's
because
very
people
true.
have come out of that type of lifestyle where they didn't know the Lord, were tatting themselves, come to know Jesus, have all these tattoos. And what do you do with that person then? Do they have to then remove all their tattoos because that might cause somebody to stumble?
Yeah.
No, they're perfectly redeemed, and if they get another tattoo, like,
If they're not doing a rebellion, and they feel okay in their
And I
heart.
think that, like anything, something can become an idol or a focus. I mean, you see people who take this so far, but there are people who take eating too far. There are people who take shopping too far. There are people who take their clothes too far, their appearance. I mean, it's every bit of the spectrum. And so I really believe it falls in that same line of things to say, anything can become not okay.
Yeah.
And I mean, because you think about in 1 Timothy, it says women don't adorn, don't show your, don't adorn yourself.
Yeah.
Because you need to show that it's the Lord in you that brings the beauty, is what it's saying. I don't think that's talking about don't make yourself look nice. I think it's saying make sure that that's where your focus is that it's the Lord coming out of you, that you're not trying to draw attention to yourself necessarily, but to the Lord. And in those, I think it goes across so many different topics.